worked at a local Jewish community center, and she ran older adults programming. And we're pretty much at the same age that she was doing that work, and this may very well be the shirt she wore. I'm not exactly sure. So thank you all. Yes. So thank you all so much for being here, panelists and audience. As Joe said, this is the beginning of many more activities on this topic. And we're so delighted to hear from everybody about the great work that you do and the great work that everybody can take advantage of. So we are going to momentarily begin just a quick 5 minutes about each organization. So I'm going to invite you all to be mindful of your time. My other job is as a trainer for mental health first aid, so I'm used to like trying to keep things on track. And after which we will move into a Q&A period. So please hold any questions that you have until then. Try to keep them up here or write them down on a piece of paper as best as you can. Okay. And anything else that we can do to get started?
Once the Q&A session is over, we will move out to the other room that will sit at a table, and then we'll have sort of a job fair atmosphere where people can pose their individual questions to the
So you get more one-on-one time, right, with the panelists as well. All right. Excellent.
One person looking for parking,
but I think we should probably get started. Yes. All right. So I'm just going to turn the microphone over, maybe to my right. We'll get going that way.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here. My name is Christy Kennedy, and I'm the co-founder of Silver Bridges Consulting here with my partner and wife of 30 years, Ginger Noche. We're actually a specialized consulting firm working with typically adult children and older adults to help them find the ideal senior living community and then transition seamlessly. In the DC metro area, there are over 100 senior living communities within about 35 miles of where we are. So starting to look for a community can be a very daunting task. It can be extremely confusing and extremely overwhelming. And if you are part of the LGBTQ plus community, it can also be scary. Not knowing sort of how you're going to be received in these communities and what that may look like. So the way that we work is we actually are with our clients every step of the way. We are scheduling tours. We do an initial assessment, first of all, to understand where the person is going to be on the care continuum. We then do an in-depth needs analysis to really get a sense of what you're looking for, what's important, what's needed, what your budget is, your time frame, all those types of things. We will then provide you with 2 to 3 options that check all of the boxes, all of the sweet spots of what you're looking for. If those 2 to 3 options don't work, we'll certainly provide you with additional options. We then schedule tours with you, and we don't actually just sit down with salespeople when we do tours. We sit down with the leadership team at that community to make sure that our clients are hearing firsthand how a loved one or how yourself, how you're going to be cared for. So really wanting to make sure that you're hearing that from the horse's mouth. After we do the tours and our clients decide where they want to move in, we have a vetted network of preferred providers that we know are going to provide the same level of customer service that we do to our clients to help with everything from needing to sell a home, to needing to downsize and liquidate assets, to moving, to packing, elder law, attorney advice, you name it. So we've got great resources that we can help folks with to make sure that you get the support that you need. So we are extremely happy to be here. The other thing that we can do with our model is our primary market is DC metro area. So DC, Northern Virginia, Montgomery County. We also can apply this across the country. So if there are folks that are looking for senior living outside of this area, we have a number of clients that we help outside of the area as well. So that's something that we can also do. Anything I'm missing?
Oh, you're awesome.
All right. That's exactly. That's right. And working together. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're excited to be here. We have a table out front. We'd love to talk to you, help answer your questions. But thank you very much for having us. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Aaron. I use he, him pronouns. I head up government affairs for an organization called SAGE. We are the nation's largest and oldest organization dedicated to improving the lives of LGBTQ plus older folks. We were founded in New York City in 1978, where we currently run 5 LGBT-friendly senior centers and 2 low-income apartment buildings. In addition to that, we have a whole bunch of national programs and initiatives, including our federally funded National Resource Center on LGBT Aging, which provides information to LGBT older folks, aging providers, and even LGBT organizations about how to better meet the needs of LGBT older folks. We run Sage Care, which is our training program. We train folks mostly in the aging sector all across the country on how to be more culturally competent. And we've trained more than 100,000 people to date. And Ruth, our board co-chair, is going to tell you a little bit more about that. In addition to that, we have our Sage Sense, our financial wellness program, Sage Connect, which is our virtual friendly visitor program, our tech support line that we just started. And then in addition to that, as I mentioned, I run our advocacy program. And in a nutshell, we try to make sure that federal, state, and local aging programs are LGBT, or policies are LGBT inclusive. And then on the flip side, if something's moving forward in the LGBT or HIV space, we try to make sure that those initiatives are inclusive of the needs of older people. So to give you just a little bit of example of what we've done here in the district, a number of years ago, we passed some legislation designating LGBT folks and people living with HIV as target populations or populations of greatest social need under the Older Americans Act, which funds programs like Meals on Wheels, chore assistance, transportation assistance, legal assistance, programs that allow folks to age in place. So that again is all under the Older Americans Act. In addition to that, we did some policy work in Virginia where LGBT folks are now the target populations too. And then we're doing work at the federal level, of course, and that's where I spend most of my time. So in 2020, we had, I think, the only LGBT policy victory under the Trump administration, where at the national level, every single state department of aging in the country and every local department of aging in the country now has to engage in outreach to LGBT folks, collect data on our needs and whether they're meeting our needs. So that's now federal law as of 2020. And we're still working to make more improvements in 2024. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ruth.
Hi, I'm Ruth Eisenberg, and I know most of you because I've been a member here at BETMISH for 40 plus years. And I'm the co-chair of the board of directors of SAGE, as Erin mentioned. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about two of our programs. I've noticed that many of our members have reached the stage of life where we are looking to transition into some kind of elder care community, independent living, assisted living, hopefully not nursing home living, or we might need home care. Or we might need rehab services for a period of time. And, when you make a transition like that, there's so many fears that you have, but one of them is, will I be accepted in this place? Will my same-sex spouse, my husband or my wife, be accepted? What if I have to share a room with somebody? How will that be? And so we have two programs that are very helpful with that. One that Erin mentioned is Sage Care. Sage Care is a cultural competency training program where Sage trains all kinds of staff in different elder care communities and home health agencies and anyone providing services to older adults. And the training is on things like the needs and history of LGBTQ folks, steps that the agency can take to provide better services, to improve the quality of services, best practices. And then we have specialized programs, like for transgender people, for older adults of color. And we've trained, I don't know, 50, 80, 100 agencies in this area. I have a list of them. And when you're going, if you are making this transition, something you can do is say, have you been trained by Sage? Have you had Sage Care training? And if they haven't, and it's still a place you want to go, you can recommend it because it will make your life better. My mother lived at, God, I can't remember, 8100 Connecticut Avenue. And she had aides from Smith Life Home Care that had all been trained. And it really made a difference when my partner and I, who are among her main family members here, we did not experience any discrimination from her home care providers, and it really made a big difference. Another program I'll mention briefly is the Long-Term Care Equality Index. This is a program we're doing with HRC. It started a couple years ago, and basically, there's a set of criteria that facilities or agencies can agree to with non-discrimination policies and training. And you can, if you meet those criteria, you can be certified. And a number of places in DC, in DC, I think just Ingleside, up at Rock Creek have been certified, but I also have a list of those. And it's another question you can ask, you know, say you want to go to the Mather. Okay, the Mather is not yet certified, but maybe they would like to be. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting us. My name is Ava Lucero. I'm the director of the DuPont Circle Village, and I'm with David Schwartz, who is our president. I'm just going to give you a brief overview quickly about the village movement. It started more than 20 years ago in Boston, and it got a lot of press at the time, and a group of neighbors on S Street here in DuPont saw all the articles. That's where they coined the aging in place. And they got together and they started their own. We are all nonprofits. We have been around for over 16 years now. And our catchment area is not only DuPont, but we serve DuPont Circle, Adams Morgan, and Kalorama. We're up against Foggy Bottom, West End, Georgetown, Cleveland Woodley Park, and Mount Pleasant villages. There are actually now 13 in the district. We are under a collaborative where we have an executive director. This is all new. We realize that there are strength in numbers. And so we've started this collaborative. Members of DuPont Circle Village, what do you get? We want to keep you in your home as you age. And we do that with leveraging the talent and the wisdom and the skills of over 90 volunteers. But it goes beyond just the basic transportation, errands, tech help. What the villages really do is they build community. We are very inclusive. We've always been. We are inclusive not only with the LGBTQ community, but also with any kind of, we have a whole open village program, and that's for our lower income subsidized members. They do not pay a fee, or if they do, it's very reduced. One of the things that the villages actually do for the city is we offer the assistance to the older adults who do not or are ineligible to receive city services. There's that whole missing middle where they do not get a lot of the stuff that they're eligible to receive. We are an extended family for solo agers. There's a lot of things talking about that now. We talk about solo aging all the time. And in our own village, I think the average age now is a female in her late 70s. The majority are living alone. They're accessible and inclusive. We never turn anyone away for their inability to pay. We're cost effective, leveraging all the services that the city offers. About 6 years ago, myself, the executive director of Foggy Bottom West End in Georgetown, we went to, at the time he was your council member, Evans. He convinced us to go to DACL to get some, they thought DACL should start supporting us. And so for the last 4 years, we have actually been in the DACL budget, the Department of Aging and Community Living, which has been a coup because we really do provide a lot of services that the DACL just doesn't reach us as far. For instance, for transportation, which we can turn around in about 48 hours if you're a member. There's a wait at DACL because they prioritize, I believe, dialysis or some of the more serious illnesses that some of our older adults do have. So we're kind of preventive on the health services front too. And in our village, and I know Capitol Hill Village is represented here too, we're two of the larger villages, and we actually have a caseworker on staff as well as a geriatric RN. We refer to her as our healthcare navigator. She can help you kind of navigate the system. And as you all know, the medical system is completely stressed and very difficult to navigate. So we do offer help in that regards too. We have a table out here, and if you want any other information or if you would like to become a volunteer, please talk to me. We're always looking for all of your wisdom and help and skills. And now I'm going to turn it over to David, who's going to talk a little bit about our LGBTQ outreach.
Hi, I think I know most of you. I've been a member of Beit Mish for many years, longer than I care to admit. So the DuPont Circle Village, sort of reflecting the neighborhood, I would say has at least 40 or so LGBTQ members who are very active. I think 4 of us are members of the board. The immediate past president was LGBTQ, as am I. In addition, we just recently formed an LGBTQ interest group. So we get together once a month, mainly for social activities. We're also thinking about some cultural activities. We're planning some pride events. And it's just a nice way to reach out and meet some of our LGBTQ community within the larger community. I would add to what Eva said that, you know, in addition to all the support for Aging in Place, one of the things that the village does is it really helps combat social isolation. We have many social activities. We have home social hours. We have birthday parties for people. We have happy hours at local restaurants. We have cultural outings, theater nights. We have 2 book groups. We have a bridge group. We have a mahjong group, and on and on and on. So if you're on your own and you want social contact, literally every day there's something going on that you can participate in. I think that's very important to support people aging in place. And with that, I will.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rabbi Atara Cohen. I am the rabbi here. I wear a number of hats in this building. And I'm really honored to be here. I come from several years of working at Congregation Beit Simchat Torah, a congregation very similar to Beit Mish up in New York, where I did a lot of work with older adults, and I'm really excited to now be with Beit Mish down here. So the most relevant hat I wear at the JCC is I, along with Director of Membership, Tina Howell, run our Active Retirees Club. This social community came out of realizing that we have a lot of folks who come in every day for senior yoga or senior swim, and we thought, how do we turn this into a community? How could it just not just be, oh, I'm coming in to like work out and now, but I don't talk to anybody. How do we actually create community from that? And so what this looked at, this is fairly new. We started with my predecessor. I'm also very new. And we do a lot of holiday brunches. We do some educational programming. So we just had a really fascinating presentation about polypharmacy, the dangers of over prescription. And our hope is to build a program similar to our Shabbat clusters or our J Family ambassadors, where we have folks in reaching out to people in their neighborhoods to be able to gather people together for social events and also connect us to the center. That's one hat that I wear. The other hat that I wear is I'm the director of Jewish Life and Learning, where I run a lot of programs that are not specifically for older adults, but are really for anyone who's an adult. And I would love to invite you all there. We have an amazing number of language courses. We're for a lot of older folks. We have, so those are on Zoom, so a little bit more accessible. And with Beit Mish, where I'm going to be teaching a course coming up called Jewish Wisdom for Hard Times. I think that's going to be in this room, and starting on Wednesday evenings. It's drop in, or not drop in, you have to register in advance, but it's you could come to one, you could come to all, and we're going to be thinking a little bit about what Jews of the past have to say about hard times, because unfortunately we've had a lot of them. So I look forward to learning with many of you in the coming years, and so wonderful to be here.
Hi, my name's Sophia Ross. I use they and them pronouns. I'm with Capitol Hill Village. Eva said a lot, So I'm going to give you guys the short on villages and then I'll dive into what makes Capitol Hill Village so unique. But I just want to add that I think one unique aspect of villages is just the fact that it's a very community-driven organization. So Aging in Place is something that's not new. It's been around for a really long time. Villages just were an opportunity to kind of formalize this and help connect people with their folks in their community, other older adults in a more formal organization-based way. So just to say we're not reinventing the wheel, we're kind of just refining the wheel. And so as Eva said, we're one of the oldest villages here in DC. We're one of 13 villages. We're very large, but we don't just serve the Capitol Hill area. A lot of being a member, you don't have to be in our area for. We have 2 different tiers of membership, regular membership and then membership plus, which is just our care services team. So you don't actually have to live in the Capitol Hill area. And that the same thing goes for our LGBT programs. Those are always going to be free and open to anyone as well. So those are just the highlights I want to give about our village. The other thing I don't want to forget is Ava mentioned that they happen to have 2 folks who are trained professionals on their staff. We have a substantial staff of about 10 people. That is pretty abnormal for a village. Most villages are around maybe 1 or 2 paid staff members. And part of our team is our care services team. We have 3 full-time social workers who are there and are able to help coordinate in-home care. They're able to help transitioning into care communities. They're able to help, with big things, little things. It's a really huge benefit that we happen to have as part of our work. So I think that's a fantastic element. And then talking more about our LGBT programs. So I wear a number of hats with the village. I run our social media, I manage our website, and also do our LGBT programming, which is funded by the DC Department of Aging and Community Living. Thank you, DC Department of Aging. I've been in this position for about 3 years now. It's been fantastic. It's given us the opportunity to do social programming. So we do monthly intergenerational social hours that are virtual. We have a monthly LGBTQ brain health group, which is focused on memory. It's one of, I think, maybe the only LGBT focused brain related groups, support groups in the area. And that provides a lot of support to folks who are caregivers or just preemptively thinking about memory concerns or just been diagnosed with memory related illness. That is one of our other main programs. I'm also involved with a lot of inclusion focused work. So in the past few years, we've been amping up work to try to focus on how aging spaces, including ourselves as villages, can be more inclusive and welcoming to LGBT older adults. So one of the big projects we've worked on is we started a care communities focused project, and we have been in the process of trying to help connect folks with more information about inclusivity in care communities. And also we're in the process of trying to interview care communities to help facilitate making it easier to access information on inclusivity in inclusivity in these care communities, because even here in the DC area, that's something that's still very difficult to find unless you're asking someone directly. So I can go on and on about a lot of things, but I prefer if you just ask me about it when we have our nice little job fair in a few minutes. So with that, I think I'm gonna hand the mic over to Justin.
Hello, my name is Justin Johns. I work at the DC LGBTQ+ Community Center, formerly the DC Center for the LGBT Community. Yes, those are almost exactly the same. We're currently located at the corner of 14th and U Street Northwest, the Reeves Center. We will be moving into a new space next to the Howard Theater on Wiltberger Street. We're currently putting the finishing touches on that, but we're going to have an ADA compliant shower. We're going to have lockers for folks experiencing homelessness, they can store documents safely, so that if encampments get taken away or water damage happens in their, they have a place to keep their documents safely. We're gonna have a larger event space and a full kitchen, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about Center Aging. It's our program for older LGBTQ adults. It's free to attend, and we have a variety of meetings. We have two weekly meetings, Monday from 10 to 12, coffee and conversation. Fridays from 2 to 4, we have tea time. It is, both of them are taking place virtually, so folks can join from wherever they are, and just kind of chit chat. Some folks here I recognize from those meetings. Hello. We also have a monthly luncheon with yoga. Those are free, thanks to DACL over here in the corner. But we provide food and an opportunity for folks to come together, chit chat. This most recent meeting, we had a group, an intergenerational event, a group called the Professional Men of Color. They provided lunch and sat down to have a conversation about their lives and learn from our seniors. We plan special events. I think we've done cooking classes. We have art, learn how to watercolor paint or something like that. We've also done bingo with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Everybody loves bingo. But we've also done things, we do workshops on fraud, how to avoid fraud or recover from fraud. We do end of life planning, and we also talk about decluttering. That is, those are all concerns that our members have brought to us, and we've turned around to present content for them. We're starting a book club at the end of this month. They're going to be reading James Baldwin. I think it's Giovanni's Room is the name of the book, but they'll be meeting in person to discuss that. And finally, we have a group specifically for women. We noticed a lot of our membership skews like male, and so we wanted to provide an opportunity where other folks could come together, meet each other, and maybe join as a group, so that it's not just one person who looks like me in a sea of faces on Zoom. I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm done.
My name is Michael Mitchell. I'm the peer support coordinator at Whitman Walker Clinic, which many of you may be familiar with. So there I run all of our free mental health programs as part of a behavioral health group. Our Silver Circle program is something that we do in partnership with Iona Senior Services through a DACL. Thank you, Ben. I'm glad you're at the end so you can get all the love and attention there. We've been doing that program for going on 6 years, I believe. Those are free LGBTQ-led groups. We have what I call a mixed gender group that happens on Wednesdays at 2. We virtually, we have a men's group that meets Tuesdays at 2 virtually, although we started meeting once a month in person at Whitman Walker because the guys wanted to experience being in person again, but only once a month because they actually like doing it from home. And then we have a men's group on Monday evenings and a women's group on Monday evenings. Both of those are virtual. We also have a Gay Men Over 50 group. That's a group I've been leading off and on since I turned 50. But I thank you for the last 8 years. Like AARP called me right away, and so did Whitman Walker to like lead that group since I turned 50. We also just started a therapy group called Aging with Pride. That's a group that you would need insurance for or ability to pay or a sliding scale. And that's open to all genders and folks over 60. If you have any questions about that, you can just hit me up out there.
Hi, my name is Ariane. I am coming from Jessa. We are founded and we are set up in Rockville, Maryland, but we actually have started having some programming in DC. So one of our programming is through DACL. Again, thank you as always, at Addis, Israel. And so that is a lunch and activities program Monday through Friday. Yeah. Monday to Friday, 10 through 2. There is a suggested donation, but no one will be turned away if you're 65 and older. And there's a good group that goes there and has nice activities. It's very collaborative, so they really are looking for people to come in and say, these are the activities we're looking for. These are what we're looking for. It's a kosher lunch, so everything that comes in is kosher certified and is set up for anyone at any level of religion. We have Jewish, we have not Jewish, we have everything, but everyone can feel comfortable there. And then we also, with Jessa, have elder care consultations, which are helping, similar to what I've heard some here, is helping to plan for those next phases of life. It's very vague on purpose in the fact that we can try to address whatever it is that your needs are. If it's a new diagnosis, if it's a transitioning to a new placement, if it's trying to continue living at home, we really try to meet the needs of where you are. It's $150 for 1 hour, and then we can help as much as you need. It can be continuing, but it's not ongoing care management. So it's really to hit those life transitions, those big life transitions, or planning for the next life step. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Levy and I'm with Department of Aging. Thank you. So Department of Aging, we advocate, implement, monitor various programs. We work with about 20 nonprofit organizations and we offer about 40 programs. So here is some of the individuals that we do that with. So I'm a program manager and we have a variety of different programs that's internal of the Department of Aging. And then of course we advocate and monitor programs for the villages and Jessa and all these other individuals. We have, Safe at Home program that, there is a certain amount of income that you have to make to qualify for that. But, they work with everyone to try to make sure that people can get age in place with chairlifts and shower chair and grab bars and so that, and usually it's something like that, a 99,000 bracket for an individual, that will be done free of cost for the individual. So again, we offer a variety of programs. We work with the nonprofits. We work with, we assist with about 40 different programs throughout DC. And of course, we've done a little bit outside. So we have a table and we'll be happy to meet with everyone and just kind of have a conversation about what we can offer individually. I'm here also with my coworker, Alice, and I'll just let her say a few words. Thank you.
Hello, so I'm looking forward to you all coming out and looking at all of the information that we have. And like she was talking about the Safe at Home program. So if you are a person that just retired and you were making $100,000 in the district government or wherever you work, once you retire, that money drops down. So you would easily qualify for the $99,300 for one person, and for a couple's $113,000. And you can go back twice, but after that, you can no longer participate in the Safe at Home program. So we are working really hard to make sure that everybody knows who we are. And as Angela was saying, she's the new lead agency for Ward 1. She didn't say that, but she's the lead agency for Ward 1 because DACA decided to be a lead agency. So we're trying to meet with the LGBT community in Ward 1 because it's very important for them to know that we're here to serve them. So if anybody have any suggestions, because I have been trying to get names, but if anybody have any suggestions and they don't mind giving me those names, I would appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Nareev Mitchell. I am from East of the River. And continuing the trend we are founded with the ECHO. We at East of the River, we're new to Ward 1. We are originally in Ward 7 and 8, but in partnership with DACA, we have came to Ward 1 to provide resources to seniors. We have five community centers where seniors could go to from 10 to 2, where we provide activities, meals, bus trips, parties, all types of events that we want to do to help seniors socialize more. We also have programs such as like care coordination, where we help seniors that need any type of assistance. For example, rental assistance or heavy house cleaning. That's been a issue for some of our seniors. I don't see anything. I think I covered most of everything.
First of all, let's give a big hand to our panelists for taking time on a Sunday to be with us. Thank you so much, and amazing network of services out there, right? Things that, of course, are housing, things that are support in your own home as you go on and live your life, right? So I know I'm picking up a lot of stuff here. My mother will be proud. So we're going to open it up to some Q&A. Again, if it's more of a personal question, I think take that to the job fair situation. But if you have a kind of a broader question for any of the panelists, please let me know and I'll bring you the mic.
This is more of an advocacy question rather than services. The mayor is pushing this affordable housing in all the wards throughout the city. But I know I live in Ward 3 and they're doing something up in Chevy Chase where they're planning. But I heard in Ward 2 that they're advocating to make some space available for LGBTQ, especially seniors. So are they doing that also in other parts of the city? Because I haven't heard about that at the Chevy Chase redevelopment.
Steps into that.
Thank you. Related to that, I know that in November, the DC LGBTQ plus budget coalition, of which George is a part. So George, you shout out if I miss some things. Hosted a LGBTQ housing conference for the first time, first one maybe on the East Coast, certainly the first one in DC, where we had, just shy of 200 folks come together representing organizations, advocates, and just community members, talking about what their needs were. And I know that senior housing was a huge topic of conversation. This is kind of still being developed in terms of advocacy asks. But that's definitely something that LGBTQ Budget Coalition recently released their mayor's budget priority letter list thing. And I believe that LGBTQ housing was a priority that they recommended. I think they put a dollar number on it. Please don't ask me what it is because I don't know. But that is definitely a priority that they are asking for.
I just like to also add that your Ward 2 council member Brooke Pinto put it in her budget priorities as well.
I also want to highlight Mary's House, which is a very important organization who's not here today. Yeah, I'm so sorry, I don't know my words. But I know they are east of the river and they support all older adults. The first LGBT older adult housing community in Washington, DC, hopefully opening up within the next year or two. They've broken ground. This is a project that Dr. Amani has been working on for many years. And I think they're gonna have a capacity of about 35 rooms. No, George is nodding no, but how many, correct me?
It's Ward 7.
Ward 7.
15 units.
Ward 7, 15 units. I'm pretty sure that all of those units are already filled because it was such a huge deal. And so that's gonna be the first, I guess, model to be presented soon for LGBT housing for older adults.
And Baymish provided some cramp fund awards to Mary's House a few years back. So yeah, definitely aware of that. All right, any other questions, broad questions?
I just wondered with all of the services, and I really appreciate the presentations. What do you all think are the gaps that still exist that need effort in terms of LGBT aging services?
I'd like to tackle that one.
Housing.
I heard housing.
Housing.
Affordable housing, of course.
There's concerns about. Sorry. Nutrition, I think, is starting to be a concern. Inflation goes up, it never goes down. And folks living on a fixed income are unfortunately starting to have to choose between being able to go out and socialize because you can't be in public without spending money these days, and having enough food to eat or medication to have access to. So that's definitely a big concern.
There's also an aid crisis. I don't want to put a name on it, but there are quite a lack of aids of people who need help with personal hygiene, things like that. And then to have educated, hearing about the education is beautiful because then putting anything else on someone, I would like them to be, inclusive, would like them to be this or that. It's very difficult to find people right now.
I also manage the case management department at DACO, and that's one of the biggest issue that we're facing. It's the aid issue, having aid to come in, but not just regular aides coming in, but someone who understand and know how to advocate and make each other comfortable in that setting. So housing, aids.
And just to clarify, we're talking about hiring of aides. 4 aides, yeah.
I have two questions. One is, has there been a needs survey done of the LGBTQ aging community? Just following up on Stuart's question.
Kind of.
So, okay, and then I'll ask my other question so that somebody down there can also answer it, which is, do the villages cover all of DC? Do you have to live in a specific community?
It's funny you asked about some of the, where there's gaps. There's some serious gaps, where there's no villages. We're talking huge areas like Logan Circle, Shaw, Petworth, Ward 7 and 8. There's only one in Ward 8. So that was when you said something about the services. We're not sure how many LGBTQ people live in this area, but the gaps are very, we get calls all the time, especially between Crestwood and like Columbia Heights area. They're in desperate need of services. And we just don't go that far. But yes, we don't turn people away. It's hard to really give services because our services are mostly volunteer based, and we can't get someone in DuPont to go all the way down to the convention center where there's nobody down there. I mean, where we have a bunch of seniors living down there. So we have associate memberships outside of our own villages, and I know Capitol Hill goes in numerous areas outside of your catchment area.
I think he was gonna answer it.
How about the needs assessment?
Yeah.
George, I'm gonna bring up the LGBTQ advisory committee that DACL hosts monthly. It's the outgrowth of a concerted effort by LGBTQ advocates to provide services for LGBTQ adults. It took place, I believe the report was released in 2018, and it actually sparked DACL giving grants specifically for LGBTQ services, including the DC Center, Tapajo Village, etc. So I know that happened. I'm not sure. I think the report was released. It's certainly available online. I'll give you a card if you want a copy of it. Yes. Did I miss anything, George?
Culture competency, 3 areas.
The 3 areas was housing, culture competency, and
Or was it congregate meals or socialization?
isolation. That was it.
And then that guy has a question.
The panel is very interesting, but one thing that's not mentioned is medical care. And I'm wondering if anybody on the panel has an opinion on if there's a certain age where after you reached a certain age, is a regular internist just fine, or do you recommend a gerontologist?
I think I'm going to Whitman Walker on this one. Yeah. Did you feel all eyes turned to you? Yeah.
So I know we're starting to have those conversations at Whitman Walker, especially with our expansion to our new clinic. So the Max Robinson Center that used to be in Anacostia is now at the Congress Heights stop. It's a beautiful clinic if you haven't been there. If you're having a hard time getting an appointment at the clinic here on 14th Street, there's almost always an appointment down there. And we've also started a what's called a smart clinic, which is a same-day service. So if you need even same-day mental health care, you can come there to that site and get that. So I know that we're starting to have conversations about that. In fact, I'm on the calendar with our present CEO, Nasima, to have a conversation about more of our services being geared toward folks who are aging, because we were, an emergency organization for so long with HIV and AIDS, right? And now as folks are aging, we're like, what do we do? And how do we do that? So we are having those conversations, and I think the Silver Circle program was the beginning of that. And I think we're gonna see more of an outgrowth of that happening.
Couple more questions, there are any?
Oh, a question, not a statement, really. I think the next time, if we meet again, we should make sure that, age-friendly city is here, Gail. Cause I know she's not here.
Age-friendly city.
Age-friendly, she comes out of the mayor's office and she handles the age-friendly city for the district.
Okay.
And she knows all of these players, and I don't know why she's not here.
We'll do final question here.
Not a question, but a comment. I just think that there's such a richness of information that we've heard that'll be hard to retain. And I hope that Beamish Maha may provide us with a list of contacts and names of organizations, perhaps in the monthly newsletter, so that people can refer to that over time.
Does that sound good, Joe?
Hey, apologies, I keep talking. Two, action item for you all in the audience. Maybe think about having some scary thoughts about what happens if I get older, what happens if I lose my mobility, what happens if I start losing the ability to get enough food, or if I start losing my memory. Have these conversations and thoughts now with your loved ones. Come up with a plan, because what we see sometimes is folks coming to us in crisis. And it's heartbreaking because there are plans and things that could have happened before they got to that point that wouldn't have, that would have saved them from having to have those hard conversations. So please don't just have this and then be done. Okay, thank you.
And relatedly, about legal forms that people have not done, of course, wills and powers of attorney and all sorts of things.
Hi again. So we're with the Department of Aging and we support, 20 programs. And what I would love for everyone to do with part of our community is to talk to your council member, advocate for finance, because that's one of the biggest issues is that, we're at DACL, yeah, we support all the different agencies and all these nonprofits, but it's money. And so with the mayor looking at cutting budget, I think if everyone advocate and just talk to their council member and let them know the importance of the programs that you're hearing about and how it can help you guys age in place and age with dignity, I think that would be a big help to all of us here in this room. So thank you very much for coming up.
I heard a lot about volunteering. I heard a lot about advocacy, local level, national level, right? And we're now gonna move into the hallway and turn over to Josh.
Thank you all so very much. My name is Josh Maxey. I'm the Executive Director